All right, hey, it's Ronin Man here. Today we're going to talk about how society basically ties you to a fence, and then everybody comes along and just sticks their dick in your ass when you're a boyfriend or a husband. Okay, so how this works is like, for example, let's say it's New Year's, right? And of course, your girlfriend or your whatever, she's going to want to go out on New Year's, right? Makes sense, right? Valentine's Day, same thing. It's very natural for her to want to go out, and I can understand that. And she doesn't want you to get screwed. She's not like in cahoots getting commission from these places, these restaurants. But what they do is they jack up the price. So everything is super expensive. So for example, where you can order, I think you guys all know this, but you can order a single thing when you're any other day of the year, right? You can order a hamburger, you can order a steak or whatever. On New Year's, it's a big like to do, including wine and all this stuff, right? It's like a big thing, and they don't even if you don't drink alcohol, they still have like a scam for you, right? They have like special Italian this and that kind of water, and they get you no matter what your preference, right? But basically, what they do is they have this like set menu, and that set menu is kind of like heavily forced. And some restaurants definitely that's all they offer on New Year's Eve, because I can tell you from being on, 52, so I've been going to New Year's for what is it, 35 years. I've been going to New Year's with girls, and I've been in many countries, and I've just been confronted with so many situations where you're just getting screwed. You're just getting. It can happen when you're out with the guys on New Year's. You can get screwed, but generally with guys, you'll generally say, "Hey, you guys, this is ridiculous." You'll walk in, and you'll go, "This is ridiculous, you guys. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go someplace where the price is the same tonight. We can go at a nice meal like tomorrow or something, right? You can go to like McDonald's tonight or get a burrito or something, right? Get some fried rice, and then the next night you can go have a nice meal if you want to have a nice meal, right? No reason to pay triple that night just because it's some holiday, right? So, and I don't think this is not about being cheap or anything. It's about being a fool. Nobody wants to be a fool. You know what I mean? Like it feels terrible if you start being a fool in life. It's just like it's just never ending. It's like having the balls to say no. I don't like this. I won't do this. I'm not into it. I know that it's the thing that you want to do, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. And basically, I'm not into it. I want to do like, for example, what I'll do. Here's kind of what I do. This is the Ronin Man thing. I'll just go like, if the girl's like totally in love with me or whatever, and we're having, like nice relationship. Well, one thing is you usually have several girls, so that it's hard to schedule these things anyway because you can't do a dinner with all of them, right? So that's kind of tough. But either way, you get the best one that's being the best to you right now, and then you say, okay, New Year's Eve, we'll go out. But what I do is I look very carefully in advance, over the years you'll start to get better at this too. Finding the few restaurants that don't have scams on these days. It's really important because you just feel like the man. I remember one time I took this girl in Shanghai out on New Year's, and we went to this Chinese restaurant that didn't have a scam. And I had gotten totally scammed the first night, the first year in Shanghai, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know where to go. So I went out with a bunch of friends, and I had a girl with me, and it ended up being a really expensive. Like I can't remember what it was, but it was like crazy expensive. And so I had learned my lesson. When you get to a new city, it's a little bit tough to to know all these things. But either way, so the second year, I had a girl, and it's New Year's Eve, and I remember very clearly. I said, "What is a place that is not scamming you on their New Year's Eve?" So I had the year before, after I got ripped off, and I was standing outside freezing my ass off on the bund. I was like looking around. As on my way home, I was looking at other restaurants that were not during the Valentine's Day thing or New Year's Day thing, New Year's Eve thing. So I saw a Chinese restaurant, and it actually looked good, and it was like there was obviously nothing special going on. They were just serving regular food, and everybody was having a good time. So the next year, I took a girl to that place, and it was great. We sat down, and she was a little bit surprised that we were not going to some special candlelit dinner thing. But I mean, we had a fantastic meal. We walked out of there. I remember her friends had started texting her and stuff, like, because it's kind of common in Shanghai to have total scams on New Year's. And her friends were like kind of pissed off, like we just spent XYZ amount of money, and it was a total ripoff, and the food wasn't good, and the service wasn't good because it was too crowded, and they ran out of this, they ran out of that. I remember one restaurant, they ran out of sushi, and they ended up serving like salami. The guy had gone to get salami or something, crazy. So the thing is like is you you have to. I think it's really important to stand up. Any of this kind of bullshit, you just have to stand up. I don't care if it's a romantic night. I don't care if it's her freaking birthday. You know what I mean? I just don't care. You have to stand up. And the thing you should always remember is that a girl, a woman, she's looking for a strong man to take her through life. She wants a man who can cut through the jungle, figuratively, right? And be the captain of the ship through the biggest storms because she knows her mind, her evolution, we've evolved. She knows that life is hard. And there's going to be cancer, there's going to be robberies, there's going to be bankruptcies, there's going to be violence, there's going to be all kinds of stuff in the future. And she really needs a strong man. She really needs that. That's a key thing. It's absolutely, whether it's still necessary in today's day and age or not, it doesn't matter. It's still baked into our, the way we are. So she wants that. She needs that. And so when you stand up on these kind of things, strangely enough, it can end up being one of the most romantic nights of the year because you basically won't get bowled over by this stuff. You're strong. You're like, hey, look, I totally understand, that that's where you want to go, but look, it's just a ripoff. I just won't do it. And the thing is if you present it the right way, and I can't really put into words how I do it, but over the years I've learned to do it in a way that the girl really appreciates it. Like she's like, this guy's smart. If I'm really at my wit's end, I'll say something like this. Look, do you want a guy with an expensive car that's leased, a guy with no money, but he looks like he has money, who's always trying to impress people? Or do you want a guy who's like solid, who's intelligent with his money, who understands money, who's good with his money, and has a good future? What kind of guy do you want? And the thing is, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if it's really, really completely true. If you've completely got your money under control, just that thinking is good. And I think many women will just look at that and you just say, look, this is one of these things. It's serious. In life, there's certain things I just put my foot down. I won't get ripped off just because I'm with you. Just because it's New Year's Eve. I just won't do it. It's ridiculous, and it doesn't make getting ripped off is not romantic at all. I remember the times I got ripped off, and I still have a bad taste in my mouth, right, about it. The times I got ripped off, it's like one of these things. It's just it kind of never goes away. I remember we got ripped off in Singapore one time. We took this carriage. There's like near the Ma Lion. There's this famous statue. We took a carriage. It was like so expensive. It was like a horse-drawn carriage. The guy's got like a top hat and everything, all white and everything. It was cute, but it was really short. It was really lame. I didn't pay. She paid, but still, I still felt bad about it because she really got ripped off. I think she paid over $100 for that or something like that. But so what I would say to you is the way the thinking is that you're a strong man no matter what's going on. And you're also a romantic guy too. So, it's like, you're not like this cold, money-grubbing guy. It's just that you take things seriously and you're not a fool. And just say, look, I totally understand. I really, whatever, I care about you, I would like to go out. But that I just don't accept that. I don't accept getting ripped off. I'm not into it. And I think that we'll have a better night if we don't get ripped off. So let's go to this other restaurant and let's have a nice meal. And, later on we can go have a nice meal somewhere else on another night, We can go to, you don't even have to do this. This is like, actually, I don't do this. I don't go this far. But I'll just say, let's not get ripped off. Let's go to a normal place. We'll have a great night. And afterwards, let's get ice cream or something, something that you like to do with her, right? So I think that you really have to be able to draw the line in the toughest situations with women. And that's a hard thing to do. It really is. Most guys can't do it. If you look at most guys, they're just slaves. They'll do anything the women want, and the women don't respect it anyway. Don't get me. Women do not respect a guy who's bending over and paying for an expensive dinner. They just don't. Sometimes what I'll do, just on this, what I'll do, if the girl really likes me and she has money, like say she's got a good job or her husband has a good job or whatever, and I'll say to her, look, if you want to go to that expensive place, I would be happy to go with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm totally happy to go with you. That's fine, but I won't pay. I won't do it. I won't pay. So if you want to go, arrange the thing, and let's go and have a romantic night if you want to do that. And often, I won't say this to every girl because obviously if she's young and doesn't have much money, then it's like she's going to make this huge sacrifice. But If she really wants to go, I'll say, look, I'd be happy to go with you. It's just that I just don't want to pay. I just think it's a ripoff. If this is something you want to do, let's go do it. And let her take care of the bill. And I found that girls actually don't mind that much. Actually, because they really want to go. The ones that really want to go, they really want to go, right? They really want to go. They want to go. They want that candle. They don't care that's a ripoff. They just think differently than guys do, right? But by you sticking to your guns and also, but also willing to go, if she wants to go, you're going to go. You go along with her, and then she's got her man with her, and she feels good, and she's got her selfie picture with you at the dinner and the candle. If that means a lot to her, it's totally fine. It's just that I just draw the line there, and I think having a line as a man is super important. It's super important. And talking about lines, having lines in life, one thing I had with Chinese girls was terrible, was they always want you to carry their bag. Mainland Chinese girls. They always want you to carry their bag when you're out on a date. So she's got a purse and she hands it to you. And if you walk around China, you'll see millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of guys on dates carrying their girlfriend's bag or their wife's bag. And, to me, I just didn't like that. I felt like it was I don't know if it was true, but I personally, and that's all that matters is how you feel. I felt like it was a mark on me as a weak guy, carrying her purse around. It's not that it was heavy or anything. It was just that I just felt like it was like a symbol that the guy's like a slave to her. And I just don't like it. I'm not into that. I don't want her to be a slave to me either. I don't want her to like be seen as like a weak woman to me and like the strong guy, Neither one they're both retarded, right? And so I don't want that. So I had this girlfriend and she would always hand me her bag. And it was almost like, I swear, it was almost like, what do you call it? Like she had a problem. Like we would go out, every Chinese girl would do this, but she was like so bad. We'd go out, she would hand me the purse. We had a once a week date. We were working really hard. And we were both working really hard at this time. We had hardly any time off. But usually on Saturday night we had time to go on a date. And so I'd go on a date with her, and as soon as we got out of the house, she would hand me her purse. And I would hand it back to her. And then she would hand it back to me. And I would hand it back to her. And she would hand it back to me. And we would hand it back to her. And it was a once a week date, so I was like, I'm not going to ruin it by going crazy. I would just hand it back to her. I'd say, no, I don't want to carry a bag. I don't do that. Other guys do that. If you want a guy who wants to carry a bag, get another guy. But it wasn't bad enough for me to, leave her. It wasn't bad enough. I was looking forward to the date too. I wanted to go out, have dinner. I was in the mood to go out too. So I was like, this is not one of the situations where I was going to put my foot down, because I felt like, hey, this is cool, once a week. And I know the way the Chinese girls are. I know that they like this, and I know that this is a big thing in China. But I'm not Chinese, and so I'm just like, I don't like it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Right? And she would just keep handing it to me, and I could find a handbag. And finally, she would finally take the bag back. But it's like it almost ruined the night a couple times. And I thought, I don't know why she would do this so much. If anybody has any insight into that one, I'd love to hear it. But either way, so I would just not do it. I would just not carry it. And everybody else did and gave into this. But I think you as a man, you have to stand up for what you believe in. I'm not saying you shouldn't carry the bag. If you're the kind of guy you don't give a damn, just carry the bag. Who cares? There's no truth and right and wrong, black and white here. It's how you feel about it and how what you want to do, right? So for me, I wasn't into it. And at the same time, I didn't want to ruin the whole night. You know what I mean? But I just wouldn't do it. I just plain old wouldn't do it. I'm like a brick wall. You know what I mean? I'm like the Great Wall. I will not do what I don't want to do with a girl. And I don't have to go crazy, but I just won't do it. I'm absolutely stubborn to the max about this kind of stuff. And I think that's once, girls understand your personality, I think what you're showing her when you don't do what you don't want to do, what you're showing her is you're showing her a strength that very few men have. And especially when you don't go crazy, you don't get emotional, you don't get, you know what I mean? You don't want to let it rile you up so you're easily swayed. And this is actually what women really want. They don't want the dinner. They want a strong guy. They really do. And you also want to be the best you. So this is one of these little tests, for me. It was one of these little tests. And again, I'm happy to go. She wants to pay. Just like if I want to go see some kind of guys thing, I'm going to pay, right? Hey, let's go see the races or motorcycle, whatever. She wants to go. I mean, I want to take her, right? I'll pay. I'll buy the tickets. So this is one of the girl things. Don't get them confused. One of the girl things. And this is my viewpoint on it. Obviously, everybody has a different viewpoint on things. Some guys really like going out to these dinners. That's fine. I personally don't. Okay, so here's other things that you can do that will kind of make you feel wormy. Okay, look for that wormy feeling inside yourself. Do I feel wormy about this? It's not about the thing. It's about how you feel about it. Okay, so for example, I just saw this article on Instagram boyfriends, how they go out of their way to take girls' pictures now, and they stand up on huge ledges and they lay down in the dirt, to get the perfect picture for their girlfriends, right? And how that's in this article it was how that's so slavish, and how it's these boyfriends are so weak and they look terrible. And I read the article and my first reaction was agreeing with that. But now that I think about it, I actually like photography. You know what I mean? I love photography, so I don't mind laying down in the dirt to get a nice picture. And I want her to do it for me too. If I want to get a killer picture of something, I don't mind doing what I need to do to take the picture. And if I want to take a picture of a girl, then I'm just going to take a picture of a girl. I don't really care what it looks like to somebody else. Somebody walks by and they say, "Oh, look at that guy laying in the dirt, taking a picture of that girl. He's a slave." They don't know anything about me. They have no clue. I just want to take a picture, and I want a nice picture of her. I'm going to take it. I don't care, right? I'm not going to be ordered around. I'm not going to go on a vacation and sit there taking selfies for all the time. But I will do when I want to do it. If we have a nice background, nice picture, I'd like to get a nice picture. And I expect people that care about me to do things that I care about too, right? And I guess I'm saying that it's not black and white, For me, photography is one thing, and carrying a bag is another. That's just the way I feel about it. I don't care what people think. So I don't care if somebody's look at that slavish boyfriend. That doesn't matter anything to me, right? What they think, I think. What other people think I think doesn't matter. But what I really think, that really does matter, and it really is important to me. So other things that girls can make you do that will make you feel wormy is some women will say they want you to call and text every day, right? No matter what, they want you to text every day. They want you basically to report where you are. Okay, so they want you to take a picture. You're out having dinner on Saturday night, and they want you to picture for who you're with, right? Send me a picture. What they're saying is, prove to me that you're not out with a girl, right? And this is lame. I will not play this game. Different countries are worse on this. I think women from different countries are different on this one. I know in Thailand, it's really bad. The Thai girls, they always want you to take a picture and prove where you are every minute of the day when you're not with them. And I just can't believe guys put up with this. I watch it around me and it's oh man, it's so lame. It's if a girl needs that much attention and she needs that much proof, I don't want her. I have no interest in being around her. And I don't care how hot she is. I really don't care at all. I would much rather be alone and out navigating the world on my own. So the other thing girls do is they want you to text, and they want you, when you wake up and when you go to sleep. Okay? Now, again, same thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't text when you go to sleep and wake up. Maybe you think of her. You want to send her a message, right? Totally fine. Totally fine. But you don't have to reply to her text if you don't want to. Okay? You can be the strong man when you need to be. And again, you don't have to be, I would say you don't have to be a brick wall every day all the time, right? It's just on key times. When you decide it's too much, when you decide you want to put the foot down, you put the foot down 100 million pounds, and there's no way you're going to do it. And I think that really gives you, it's kind of like working out. The more you lift weights, the stronger you get. You build your muscles up, right? I think that this is one of those things that you get good at doing it in an appropriate way. You get good at saying no. You're good at not doing things you don't want to do, right? And what that allows you to do is it allows you to do the things you want to do without feeling bad about it. So if somebody thinks it's slavish, if your dad says something about young guys these days, and for you it's nothing, right? Then you don't give a damn because it's not even true. Your dad has a different paradigm. Your friends have a different paradigm than you. And if someone else thinks you do something, I mean, I would always consider it, of course. if someone says something about that, I will. That's an outside view. That's valuable. But after consideration, if I realize this is actually something I like doing, then it's like, okay, fine. I move on. So don't let, other things girls do. I was just looking in here. Sometimes limitation on smoking weed. They don't want you to smoke weed, or they don't want you to drink so much. They don't want you to drink. Any of this kind of stuff. You should put your foot down on. It's like, you know what I mean? Just open another beer. Like, don't let her tell you not to do things, because if you like to do them, just do them, right? If you have a problem, then you go get help, right? But it has nothing to do with her. If a girl doesn't want to be with you because you smoke weed or whatever, you drink, a couple beers every night, hey, fine, go ahead. I'm not gonna, so many guys will just do anything to please the woman. Again, I kind of take these outside observations from women and friends as like a canary in the coal mine at times, because sometimes it's an outside view that I can't see of myself. So not everything women say is just useless, and you have to, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes women have deep insight into my issues and in my life, and I really appreciate that. That's totally fine. I'm not, I'll listen, and actually sometimes women actually really care, and they really figure out something that I'm having trouble with, and it's like they see something from another point of view, So I always consider that. I just think, okay, what is she doing here? Okay, she's ordering around with this little thing, and she wants me to take this picture, and she wants to prove. No, I won't do it, right? So another thing girls will do, the last thing I'll say is, some women will regulate how you dress. So they want you to wear like for example, in Thailand, if you get a Thai girlfriend, they tend to want you to wear long pants in public, and especially long pants and also long sleeves. Now Thailand's really super hot, right? So it's like the last thing you want to do is wear long pants and long sleeves. But they have like different materials that are cooler and this and that, and supposedly they're comfortable and this and that. But I just disagree. Long pants and long sleeves are just uncomfortable for me. I grew up on the beach. I don't like long pants. I don't like long sleeves. I remember my friend in high school. He didn't even have a pair of long pants. I thought it was so funny. He didn't have one pair of long pants. One of my friends growing up, because we grew up on the beach, and so I think that I don't like long pants and long sleeves. And I don't really care. I know it doesn't look as great or whatever. Whatever. I'm not going to wear certain clothes for girls. I'm just not into it. I personally won't do it. Other guys, maybe that's their thing. Maybe that's your thing. So look at it and maybe put down in the comments like ideas that girls have done to you where you felt wormy. So look for that inside feeling that you have. How do you feel about it, right? And if you have that feeling, you have to like maybe go to the bathroom or take a walk outside, have a smoke, and you really think about like, what am I going to do in this situation? Like, is this is like wormy? It's happened more than once. I'm not into it. If I keep doing it, I'm going to feel bad. And then you just make a decision. You don't come back in angry or anything. You come in with a decision. You say, I just thought about it. I don't want to go to that place. Let's go to this other place. And often that's all it is. It's just simple as that. So some of this stuff is just basically assertiveness. Being able to say what you think and to communicate to people and not be afraid. You don't have to get angry. Just communicate. Here's what I like. I just tell you one story, is a classic story of these two guys. Both guys were super badass dudes. Like they were like gang members, like seriously dangerous criminals, right? And they were trying to get along. And I knew these guys. And the one guy kept calling the other guy a nickname, and the other guy didn't like it, but he didn't say anything. So finally, he was so pissed off, he actually bought a knife and wrote the guy's name on it and put it in his boot. And he was waiting for the next time that the guy was going to say it to him, right? And he came to me. He said, "Hey, what?" And I said, "What's bothering you?" Something. He said, "Well, that guy keeps calling me that nickname." And he didn't tell me he had a knife until later, until it was all over. But he said, "I said, look, okay, what is he calling you that name?" I said, "Well, okay. Well, when you go up to him next time, just tell him that you don't prefer to be called that name." And so it's what he did. He said, "I don't like that nickname. I don't want you to call it anything." And the other guy was like, "Oh, okay." And then he never called him that again, right? So sometimes life is just a matter of just communicating. Like those two guys escaped a very serious situation just by communicating. So sometimes with women, it's just a matter of communication. and other times it's another thing. So don't expect that it's too big. You know what I mean? I think some guys, when you first start really being independent and really being decisive and doing what you want and being, being Ronin man, basically, you go overboard and you think you have to make a big deal out of things and you don't, right? Life's pretty simple. Girls like stable, smart guys who aren't slaves. They prefer that, definitely, to a slavish guy. They just want to. As soon as you fall into that trap, you go from being an attractive guy who they like to have inside of them to a guy that is like a friend who's like they have no sexual feelings for. So be very careful with this stuff. It sounds small, but it actually has huge impact on how you're seen, right? So either way, thanks for listening. Please subscribe and share these if you're enjoying them, if you're learning things. Love any comments you guys are doing, and I really appreciate the community because I also am Ronin man. I like to I stay on track by you. Also the community, and the other guys, friends I have, that we all kind of are learning and growing together, and it's super important because I would have never figured out all this stuff on my own. A lot of it came from other friends who I got into a relationship with. Where we talk about this stuff and we would discuss these little things, and that's why I can verbalize them now. It's because of the last 30 years of being able to having friends that I could talk to about this and communicate, and then realize I felt wormy. When I was young, I didn't even know what I was feeling. I didn't even know what that feeling was. I just thought this was a normal feeling that you would go out with girls and just kind of have this wormy feeling once in a while. But no, that's telling you something, right? So sometimes you don't have the answers, but you can maybe even make a note on your phone or something, and then put a comment on the video below. Or if you have another Ronin man friend, you guys can get together and say, look, I don't know what it is, but I just felt weird about this. And this was how I felt about this situation. Then you can kind of reverse engineer it and figure out what you should do next time. Because certainly whatever makes you feel wormy is definitely going to happen again. There's no question about that. So either way, thanks for listening to Ronin Man. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks. Have a good one.